Okay, Captain Marvel officially comes out today. Y'all know my thoughts on it. I refuse to see it because of Brie Larson's big, condescending, self righteous mouth. So I'm gonna review this today. She don't want men watching her movie anyway, so let's talk about a phenomenal superhero movie. And the people involved in this, they did not set out to make the movie about a political agenda, a cause. This was not a form of activism, although it could have easily have been. This is the first and most iconic female superhero, and all anyone involved made it about was a fun superhero movie, and that's why audiences responded so well. And you hear these negative, it's just sexist that can't handle strong female characters. One, it's nothing new. How many of us that don't want to see this movie grew up with the Aliens franchise? Plenty. How many of us actually thoroughly enjoy this film? One, I was not looking forward to, not because I don't like strong female characters, because I never cared for the character of Wonder Woman until I seen Batman vs. Superman. I actually like it. Get out the torches. And she impressed me enough that I'm going to go see this when it comes out in the theater, and it did not disappoint. It's a solid origin story, and the way they even wrote it is even the male characters with her, they didn't make them look weak, even though they are physically weak compared to her, but they still made them look strong next to her, and they did their mission in such a way that she could not have succeeded with them. In fact, if you look at those characters, if you take the same World War One setting, okay, and change Chris Pine's name from Steve Trevor to something else so it's not connected to Wonder Woman, and you just focus on those same group of characters minus Wonder Woman going on a mission to destroy a chemical weapons plant during World War One, you would still have a very good movie because those characters were so well written. I particularly like how it focuses on the PTSD of the sniper character. I've talked to people who are snipers, and yeah, they're always pretty haunted by what they done. I even talked to someone once who knew a sniper in Vietnam, and the man was still haunted to this day about that fact that he can still see the eyes of everyone he shot. So that was a nice touch. The story, simple. Wonder Woman, born on the island of the Amazons, Themyscira. There was a war in the past with the god of war Ares and a supposed weapon called the God Killer. Wonder Woman, as a kid, wants to learn how to fight, but her mom won't let her. She gets trained during World War II. The barrier to the island is weakened. She meets Steve Trevor, realizes, oh, Ares is out there, and goes bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to the world to stop Ares. And I like the contrast because, in a sense, she's almost romantic. No, she is romanticizing going to battle. She thinks it's something great, and then when she gets to, well, she's still in our world, but a magical barrier prevents the rest of the world from finding Themyscira. But when she gets to our world, for lack of a better term, she's like a fish out of water immediately, and they do it in a nice way that it's humorous at times, but it's not stupid. One of my favorite bits, and it's a good reference to the Justice League War animated movie, when she gets ice cream for the first time and she tells the vendor, "You should be very proud." And again, just all the characters are well written. The soundtrack for this is my favorite soundtrack of any superhero movie ever and one of my favorite film tracks of all time. Her theme music is just epic in every sense of the word. The music is just, it's a perfect soundtrack, and I'm gonna say it. In the last 10 years, John Williams hasn't produced anything that can hold a candle to this. John Williams is one of my favorite composers of all time, but I just think it's time for him to retire. He hasn't produced anything memorable as of late. And getting to the contrast, what I was talking about with how she comes bright eyed and bushy tailed wanting to go to war, when they get to the trenches, this did phenomenal in a PG environment, and she's confronted with the horrors of war. If you've seen my review of the Christmas Truce book and you've seen my review of Battlefield 1, you'd know I described the trenches on the Western Front as the scariest environment imaginable. You're stuck in a wet subterranean environment. You can't peek your head over without getting shot. If you do, you see mud, barbed wire, mangled dead bodies everywhere, and you never know if the shell about to explode over your head has poison gas. And this captures that perfectly. And then you get the epic scene where she jumps over no man's land and they actually take land, because another nice line in there that captures the futility of World War One was when Steve Trevor mentioned, both sides have been here this long and no one's barely gained an inch. Now, they did use a character from the comic books to make the chemical weapons, Dr. Poison. I know she was in the comics, but I kind of feel it was a missed opportunity. They could have used Hobart, the real life father of chemical warfare, because that man was more monstrous than they even made Dr. Poison out to be. I do kind of wish he had been in the movie. Eventually they get to the area where the chemical weapons are going to be delivered. Steve Trevor has to sacrifice himself, and at this point, Wonder Woman's disillusioned. They don't deserve. My mother was like, humans don't deserve us. And Steve's trying to reason with her, and he ultimately has to make a sacrifice play while she's encountering Ares, who's tempting her to turn her back on the humans and help destroy them. And Steve Trevor's death, awakens something in her, and she begins to come into the fullness of her powers, and it turns out she's the god killer. She's the daughter of Zeus and half sister of Ares. And I'll admit, this fight scene, but it's a criticism with so many movies now, it does look very video game cutscene-y. I'm a fan of practical special effects. All CG looks the same to me, so that's a negative, but it's not the only movie. For all the praise even Black Panther gets, and I do like that movie, the final fight is very video game cutscene. The final fight in so many, especially superhero movies, is just so video game cutscene. But after Ares is defeated, we flash forward back to the future because that's how the movie began. Bruce Wayne found the picture of her with the squad and he sends it to her, and it ends on a very optimistic note. It was just a fun movie, more emotional than I expected. And I even like there's points in this where like when she goes into the Pollerman office and she encounters some sexism, I even like the character's attitude to it. She just more or less ignores it and goes straight to business trying to help them. It was a great movie. It wasn't made to be about activism. And like I said, I will enjoy this because of Brie Larson's mouth. I will not watch Captain Marvel. And then there's this, Stan Lee's official Twitter. And 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 this, Stan Lee really, really irritated me. If you look, it's still being used. I kind of feel like it should have been archived. Like, here, his account's being used to promote the Lego movie. And his account's even being used to promote Captain Marvel. Y'all are using a dead man to promote movies. That's disgusting. His Twitter should have been archived, but no, now you gotta use him to promote your movies. All the more reason for me not to see Captain Marvel. MCU, I am so through with you. I'm gonna see what Endgame. I'm gonna wait to see spoilers to find out if Marvel is the one who beats Thanos, but yeah, other than that, the only two movies I want that I don't have are Infinity War and up and coming Endgame. Marvel can go fly off of the Grand Canyon, and after Endgame, I'm done with the MCU. But that's my thoughts on Wonder Woman. What do you think? Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I got a little ranty at the end, but that Stan Lee thing just don't sit well with me. So, over and out.